What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Shifting Lanes. My name is Hanson, and for this video you find me sitting in the 2022 Toyota GR86. This one is the premium model and it's finished in the track bred premium color. There's no packages to be had with this one, so with delivery added, this one comes out to $31,750. The base version of this car, which loses out on the 18-inch wheels, the better PS4 tires, and the duckbill spoiler, is $2,600 cheaper, which means that the GR86 or the GR86 is one of the best performance buys under $30,000. And if you're a car enthusiast, then this is the only car you'll ever need, and I'll tell you why in this video. But first, for some frame of reference, it's story time. I personally owned the first gen BRZ. Back then, there wasn't a GR86. Instead, it was the Scion FRS. And both the BRZ and the Scion FRS, just like the BRZ today and the GR86, are identical. I bought that car used. It was a high mileage 2013 model year with a single previous owner. Not knowing any better, I said to myself, what could possibly go wrong? 6 days after I bought it, it broke down and it had to be towed. It was sent back to the dealership that I bought it from. Turns out it was the valve spring. It disintegrated and destroyed the entire engine. Now, this is before any of the valve spring recall stuff was known to the public. So Subaru decided to pay for the fix, and after 40 days, I got the car back with a fresh, brand new engine. So this is where my adventure really started. The whole reason for buying the BRZ was because I wanted to get into the world of autocrossing. I wanted to become a better driver, and there's no cheaper and safer way to learn other than spending a whole morning and afternoon on a parking lot full of cones and learning from other drivers. To make that BRZ more of a handling monster, I installed sway bars, Coney dampers, iBox springs, and brand new wheels and tires to have an SSC or a solo spec coupe build for autocross. I ended up having that car for a year, used it for commutes, used it for autocross weekends, and used it for travel anywhere. It was a delightful daily driver and road warrior, and despite the rocky start, it was one of the best cars I've ever owned. And now that I have this GR86 to test for a week and discovering all of the new upgrades and nice to haves, it makes this car an even better daily driver and great all-rounder than the first generation. Let's begin with the biggest improvement, the engine. The bore of the engine has grown from 86 millimeters to 94 millimeters. So overall displacement has increased from a 2-liter to a 2.4 liter. So as a result, it's making 18% more power and 11% more torque. And anytime you're making more than 10% of extra torque, you're gonna feel it. For daily driving purposes, this is big. The car feels a lot faster now. They fixed the torque curve so when you're driving it hard and rowing through the gears, it doesn't trip over itself when you upshift. Power delivery feels a lot more linear and natural, and using it is also not going to crush your wallet because this gets 20 city, 27 highway, and 22 miles per gallon combined. It's not the best efficiency, and in fact, this is the only metric where the car got worse compared to the first generation. But this is going to be so much more fun to drive compared to other more fuel-efficient cars and EVs out there. The sound has also greatly improved. There's an improved intake and exhaust design, there's more air flowing through the engine, and there's also some fakery with the active sound control, which will add extra sound into the cabin. I'll forgive them because almost all performance cars does this nowadays anyway. Handling wise, this new 86 is a bit better, but a lot of that has to do with the better tires. The Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires are so much grippier than the base Primacy HP tires. The track width has also slightly increased compared to the first gen by 0.2 inches, and the overall center of gravity has lowered by 0.4 inches. So in general, this is going to feel marginally better. This still comes with a Torsen limited slip differential standard, which means that when you're going through the corners, you're going to have more grip, thus you can carry more speed compared to other cars that don't have one. If you're under a strict budget and you have to get a performance car with an LSD under $30,000, this is it. You can't say the same about the Mazda Miata because to get the LSD there, you have to start with the club level, which is more than $30,000. The steering in this new GR86 feels a bit quicker than the old one, but that razor sharpness, the accuracy, and the great feedback. This is how every car steering should feel like. If I can only give you 2 reasons why you should get the GR86, the first one is the handling, and the second one is the steering. Now, I consider myself very lucky to have been able to drive all of these different cars and do these video reviews for this channel. And in my personal experience, there's very few cars available now that matches or exceed the steering feel of this GR86. The Porsche 911s and the Mazda Miata. The first one is crazy expensive, and the second one is a serious competitor to this car. And if I can add a third car from my personal archives, the 2006 Mitsubishi Evo 9 is a fantastic handling and steering car. The steering in this GR86 feels very immediate and direct in that it just feels very natural, just like those 3 other cars. You feel a bit like an athlete when you're dodging potholes in this thing. One quick tug and you've transported into another part of the road. There's no drama, there's no excessive body roll, just pure handling bliss. This is why the GR86 and the BRZ are such great autocross cars and learning tools for car control, because it doesn't come with the excess that you find in other cars. There's no extra weight to lug around, it's small and highly maneuverable, and there's more grip than power that it'll encourage you to find those limits. So for daily driving purposes, you just become a lot more confident in the car because it communicates to you so well. You know what it can do, and you also know what it can't do. And what it can do is a whole lot more than what other cars can achieve. And what it can't do is it still can't go very fast even with the added power. Moving inside, the GR86 feels very similar to the one before. The ergonomics is about the same, the steering wheel is small and feels great, the button layout is still familiar, the 6-speed manual transmission is about the same, which is brilliant, don't mess with a great thing. And I love how perfectly it's located for quick transitions between the steering wheel and the shifter. There's also a traditional handbrake, which is disappearing even more quickly than the manual transmission. There are some nice upgrades though. The HVAC controls look more high-end. The 8-inch touchscreen is a nice upgrade, even though the native infotainment system is pretty bare bones. That really doesn't matter too much because this does come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The instrument cluster is now digital and it's presented in this boxer engine style layout. Change the driving mode to track and you get a more track-inspired cluster. This looks a lot better than the old one. It doesn't add much to the daily drivability aspect, but it looks and feels more premium. The back seat is still laughably small, but just like the one before it, you can fold the second row down and have enough space for 4 spare tires. That also means that this car is so much more usable than the Mazda Miata. You can put a baby seat in here if you want. You can seat 3 other people very uncomfortably. And this is still, despite the worse fuel efficiency, this is still a fuel-efficient grocery getter. You don't need a 5,000-pound SUV to get your groceries from Wegmans. This 2,900-pound car is enough. And I'll tell you what, you're going to look forward to doing all of those mundane errands even more because you're going to try and find every excuse to drive this car. It is that good. And if you're thinking that you can't have this car because it's just rear-wheel drive and you live in an area where there may be some snow, I can share with you from experience that all you really need in this car is a set of winter tires. You don't need all-wheel drive, you just need a second dedicated set of proper tires. I've also done a winter driving experience where we raced BRZs with studded winter tires on a frozen lake, and as much fun as it is to drive this thing on dry pavement, driving it on winters in the snow is even more fun. One last reason why this is a great daily driver is the looks. If you're going to be proudly driving this thing on a daily basis, it's gotta look good. A popular saying is, if you don't look back at your car after you park it, then you've bought the wrong car. Well, this GR86 has me checking back after every time I park and also checking my driveway every couple of hours. This is a gorgeous looking car. The front end looks aggressive with the big grille. The headlights look clean. They're also pretty smart headlights, as this premium model has the adaptive headlight system, so it can help you see around corners when you turn. This premium model also comes with the 18-inch gloss black wheels. With the premium track red color, this black and red color combination is a killer look. And finally at the rear, since this is the premium version, it comes with the duckbill spoiler. This changes the profile of the car pretty drastically and for the better. It makes this car look like the Supra's little brother. So in summary, this is a great daily driver because the new engine upgrade makes this car so much more livable and capable. The steering and handling is so good that it's unreasonable to find it in a sub $30,000 new car. The interior has been upgraded, and the 2+2 configuration, if you're willing to live with it, is actually usable. Out of all of the cars that I've reviewed this year, this has been my favorite. It's such a wonderful car for a very reasonable amount of money. I challenge you to find a better new car for less or the same amount of money that can do what this car can achieve. Now, I want to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comments down below. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way till the end. If you've learned something, please consider hitting that like, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe and that notification bell so that you can be notified anytime we make a new video. I want to thank you so much for watching. This has been the 2022 Toyota GR86 Premium. My name's Hanson, and I'll see you in the next one.